listening to Visa here on 103.0 Radio Van. You are listening to American in Yerevan, an English-speaking show that is on the air every Wednesday and Friday from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. And tonight we have a very special guest, Mariana Pogosyan, or
Mariana Gordon.
Gordon. Amazing.
Already, yeah.
It's great to have another person in Yerevan with a last name that doesn't make sense. Because every time like, for instance, this week I was getting my medical certificate.
Yeah.
Because I'm working on getting a residency permit in Armenia.
Uh-huh.
And when I try to explain to people that my last name is Oxner.
Oxner?
Yeah, they're very strange... very strange looks that you get. So having a Gordon in the room is a very special thing for me. I can't explain it to you.
Well, that was the wish of my husband, so I couldn't. Yeah.
Well, it's a very cool thing
obey.
too.
Of course.
We have the diversity is growing and growing and growing in Armenia.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're very happy to have you here in the studio this
evening. So do I.
I would like to just give it quite a short introduction of what I know about you, Mariana.
Yeah.
You are a dancer.
Uh-huh.
You are a singer. You work at the Opera Theater, which is an amazing building, which I have never been inside, but I have big plans to go there, and I love it when I pass it. I mean, I pass it almost every single day.
I will try to make your plans come true.
Will you?
Will give you some invitations for next shows.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
But I know that you're also the author of books. I know that you have been a part of and possibly even led training programs that have to do with leadership and cultural studies and happiness.
Yeah.
How do you see life, and how do you go about doing life with all of this gigantic spectrum of different things that you're involved in? Mm-hmm. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes. As far as I love life very much, I always tried to see, feel, and taste all the spectrums, all the colors of it. So, and I decided to be very broad in my living style.
This is very clear.
Yes, I'm constantly working to broaden my mind spectrum, my expectations, my interests, my appetites for exploring, knowing, understanding, and picturing the life as it is.
Well, we are coming to a very specific point, which I thought maybe we would get to later, but seems to be a very important thing to talk about at this very specific moment, and that is transcendental meditation.
Yes.
We have met you because you called when we had Svetlana Galician as a guest here.
Yes,
who's sitting right over here where Daniel is sitting at this
moment.
You called because you are a student of hers, as far as I can say. Can I call you a student of hers?
Of course. Yes,
and you practice transcendental meditation.
I do.
Can you tell me a little bit about transcendental meditation? Because Svetlana was very verbose in her explanation of meditation, but I guess I just didn't get enough. I wanted to talk about it more, and I wanted to understand.
Transcendental is why. That's why. Yeah. So, life have brought me to meet Svetlana. Before that, I didn't know about transcendental meditation. I knew about meditation, so those
you
kind of
things. You can sit on a pillow.
Yeah.
You can focus on your breath.
Yeah. I could. But when I first met her and when she told me what it is, it really captivated my attention because this transcendentality of this notion was very familiar to me because it's actually very unifying thing, this transcendental meditation, and I always search for this unification of everything in life. So when she...
the thing that connects you to everything.
To everything, yeah. Uh-huh. Actually, everything is connected, as we know. So this, what is transcendental meditation? What is meditation? Meditation is a contemplation, is a thinking. And transcendental meditation is where you go while meditating by certain mantras. You go to your own cognitive creativity, to the depths of your own cognitive creativity, which we all have.
Uh-huh.
And the technique is very simple. So it came through Maharishi in 1950s. It was actually from Hindu Vedas that it arose, this practice. And so he, in 1955, he started actually to practice and widen this practice for a lot of people. And he has formed different schools. He has got his pupils, that certified students that started to transmit this technique, this practice. What does it give to you? Well, it's a very simple process. It takes only 22 minutes. You are getting a special mantra. And so in this 22 minutes, what you do is you stay with yourself, your inner world, your inner thoughts. And what you have in a final run is concentration, clearance, and peace with yourself, which makes everything more understandable, both yourself and outer world. So it's just this kind of very simple things that leads you to great things, because it opens up a lot of sources in yourself that you wouldn't get if you're not in peace with yourself.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
So in a way, could I say that the first step to being in peace with the surrounding world is to be at peace with oneself?
Of course, everything starts with oneself.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's quite a difficult thing, I think, for a lot of people to even conceive.
Yeah.
Because so much of what we end up focusing on in our lives is others, because we don't want to be egotistical.
Yeah.
We're told throughout life that we shouldn't be selfish, we shouldn't be egotistical, we shouldn't be involved with oneself.
There is very interesting line between egoistical and reasonably egoistical. Yes, you didn't surpass that line, you're fine. But the moment you pass your ego appreciation too much, like the moment you pass it, that's when it becomes narcissism. Those are different things.
Force.
Yes. Because we as ourselves, we have all the universe in ourselves, and we are the part of it. We are the particle. So through ourselves, we can and we should look, understand, and make the world to become better through ourselves, starting from ourselves.
One of the ways which I feel you have probably made the world better is by having 2 restaurants.
In a way.
Is this a way that... Could you agree with me in that? Could you tell me a little bit about your restaurants that you have? One of which you will have your wedding at in August?
Yeah, this restaurant belongs to my parents, which was created 17 years ago. One is the Dol Mama, famous. And
no way.
Yes. And
this is your parents' restaurant,
yes,
Dol Mama?
Yes, it is.
Unbelievable. I've spent about 10 minutes in Dol Mama looking at the menu and understanding the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And it's a place I just dream about going to.
I will invite you also to this.
Oh.
To make
this is my lucky day.
Yeah. It's a very nice and very... place with accent, I would say.
A place with accent.
Yeah, and with style, with taste, and with a lot of soul in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
this is something that I felt right away.
Yeah. I think that is the reason why it stayed so long and why it is so famous, and why so many people really get attached to this place.
How
Because
long has it been around, may I ask?
sorry,
Dalmama. How
17 about 17 years.
17 years.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
it started from a very very small room, and then it has broadened up. Yeah.
Okay, and so tell me about the second restaurant, the one
Second,
in
yeah,
Dilijan.
second restaurant is the Flying Ostrich in Dilijan.
The Flying Ostrich?
Yes, very, very.
It's a
fun.
paradox in a restaurant.
Yes. So it's a very picturesque restaurant in the center of Dilijan. Yeah, it has outside space, inside space, Armenian wonderful food, and really very friendly atmosphere where you're more than welcome to come.
Amazing, thank you.
Yes.
Can you tell me what maybe your favorite dish is at the Flying Ostrich?
I think the tattoo. It's not a dish. It's tattoo. Homemade tattoo. Cucumbers.
Cucumbers?
Yes.
Salty, like pickles?
Yes, like pickles. Yeah, it's my favorite. It's not a dish. It's just.
It's a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's an appetizer, and also the fresh cooked bread with cheese.
Yeah, everything is
it's
simple.
very simple. Yeah, but there are more complicated dishes. But those are my favorites.
Well, I think it's quite a wise thing to think of the simple things, if done well, are the best things in life.
Of course.
So another simple thing that we'll go to is a song called Track 7, and we'll be back in a little while. Don't forget that you can call us at 560-901 to ask your own questions of our very special guest, Mariana
Bogosian.
Bogosian. Okay, come on, tell us. Say it yourself.
Sorry?
Gordon,
yeah.
Gordon.
Mariana Bogosian Gordon, I will say.
Oh, is that how you have it? You have a hyphen?
No, I couldn't have it, but finally, in the final run, I want to reach Bogosian Gordon when I had my second passport. Because Armenia didn't provide me with that possibility.
One last name,
unfortunately.
only one last name. You can't choose the hyphen last name like Americans.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay, well, when you get your other passport, your Australian passport, is that what it will be?
Yes.
Then you'll be a Bogosian Gordon.
Yes, I will.
Amazing. Stick around and call us at 560-901. We're still here till 11 on 103.0 American in Yerevan. Living the Vida Loca is really something that seems like you've been doing in your life. How many, can I ask you this just as a very superficial question? How many countries have you lived in?
Lived in?
Yes.
Well, I've lived I've spent 1 year in each in the United States while studying, doing my undergraduate degree in New York State, Eureka College. And then I've lived a year in France, in Nice, also like France, and then Belgium, Italy, and Germany. So at once, because the program was such that we had to spend few months in each city. Yeah, so
you spent a few months in all of those places.
Yes, I did.
In Belgium, in Germany, in Italy, and in
Germany.
France.
Yes.
Amazing! What an amazing journey you've had.
Yes.
And all of that time you were studying.
Yes, I was studying.
Can you tell me what it is that you were studying?
I was studying European Studies. It was Institute It's called International Institute for European Studies. Yeah, the center, the headquarters is in Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, but then we travel back and forth to all those countries. Yeah.
And this is how you became such a... this is how you got a handle on so many different languages. I've read your CV
Yes.
before you came today,
Yes.
and I was floored by the amount of languages that you speak.
Yes. Those languages I actually learned in French University where I was studying here in Armenia. So
Right,
I've started
okay.
there. Yeah.
That was French, English, Russian,
German. Yeah.
and Armenian. These are
Yes.
the 5 languages that you have a
Yes.
handle on.
Yes.
And
And
now,
a little bit of Italian.
which we'll get to
It's my
later.
passion.
Because, we have the passion coming up here. And when you talk about European studies, what does that include, for example?
It's those are all the studies concerning European Union, the formation of European Union,
Okay.
the relations, their politics, so their relations with other countries, so everything that includes Europe. Yes,
I see.
Europe and their relations with other countries.
And this includes the history of
course.
the formation of the
Of
European
course,
Union.
of course. Formation, development, this phase of globalization. We've spent a lot of time talking and thinking about that notion, and that's when I came up with with the subject of my book and final thesis of the year while doing my master's there. So it made me to come up with my very famous book of life, I would call it.
Which is something I've been dying to get to. Can you give us a brief... I think that we should dedicate an entire small episode of our conversation to this book.
Yeah.
But can you give us a brief introduction to the book?
Of course. So
Which
while
was
doing
your thesis
while doing my master's degree in Nice, in a final part of the studying year, we had to come up with a title for our thesis. So we had given certain titles that we had to choose, but it didn't satisfy my interest. So I proposed to my supervisor, who was German, very rough guy, Mr. Wächter. So I've convinced him that my title means more, and I should write about that title. And it was Happiness versus GDP.
Happiness versus GDP. Gross domestic product.
Gross domestic product, yeah. It was not only talking about happiness and GDP, so those were notions that contradict to each other. So opposites that we have in our life. So you can translate it, for example, mind and heart, earth and sky. So all the opposites that we handle in our lives. And happiness and GDP was a bit, in the beginning, symbolic. Yeah, but then it came to a very important notion that we have in life, happiness. Yeah, so I've contemplated a lot in my monography, later on monography, like thesis, a lot. So why I've chosen happiness? Because it's, to me, we should know why we live, about what we live, what is the final point, destination for a human being. So I came up with this happiness, and it appeared that actually it is our final destination point. It should be, at least. Yeah.
It seems to be the goal.
Yes.
We all
Of
at
Homo
least
sapiens.
talk about having.
Yes. At least, yeah.
Is
Theoretically.
happiness.
Yes.
Right, because many times when people talk about the actions of their life, it has to do with making themselves or their children or their loved ones or the people of the earth more happy.
Of course.
Happier.
And, everybody has his own formula of happiness. And
this is very true.
Of course, different parts to form that formula for them. But I also tried to make people think about that notion, by suggesting that title, at least to start to think about
happiness versus GDP.
Yes.
Does product, gross domestic product, equal happiness? And, well, if it's versus, most likely you're already creating the understanding that it doesn't.
Unfortunately, it is not, but it should have been, because GDP is claimed to show the progress of your country, economical.
Right.
And economical, and when you say progress, the etymology of the word and the meaning should be leading you to the well-being of people, right, of humans. But when I was doing my research, the data showed that there are a lot of countries with high indicators of GDP where the population is not so much or not delighted at all with the state and the level of their well-being. So then I thought, so why we need these high numbers, these big numbers, showing that we are in a process of progress if we don't actually progress. So
if we don't progress to the thing that we all claim to be progressing to.
Yeah. It appears that we're, as a matter of fact, taking the amount of the resources that we use, we're actually regressing. Yeah, it's very dramatic, but the overall picture of today's world shows that we are really regressing. Because, from the first sight, it seems that we have so much advance in technologies, in speed of connections.
Sure, we have iPhones in all of our pockets.
Everything.
Right now, this very conversation is being broadcasted across the globe on radiovan.fm.
Yeah, but it seems that very often we're misled by those fast things that happens in our lives, or it happens too fast for us to understand why do we need it to happen. Yes.
Well, I would very much like to go more into this. Let's take a break, a quick break, and we'll come back to your book in more detail as it concerns different countries which have a very high GDP, but very possibly low GDH, as you would call it.
Yes.
Gross domestic happiness.
Yes.
When we come back. As always, you can call us at 560901 and listen to us, of course, at radiovan.fm. Tonight we have Mariana Gordon, Bogosian Gordon, here in the studio, delighting us with tales of happiness and song and travels across Europe. So stick around. We're still here. We're going to listen to Paradise by Coldplay after this quick message from our sponsor.
Радио Ван. Реклама на Радио Ван. Нас слушают творческие.
Happiest country in the world.
Well, talking about official happiness indexes and technical issues, I would say Bhutan, Republic of Bhutan. Because,
the Republic of Bhutan?
Yes.
Where is Bhutan?
Because they have created their own index, economical index, as opposed to GDP, GDH, meaning gross domestic happiness.
So this is an official
index,
like
economical.
You could say it's a goal that they have to raise their GDH.
Exactly.
Whoa.
Exactly. So there are 9 criteria that it complies. This GDH, it has time-wise, it has psychological well-being, it has health, it has education. So 9 criteria that when you count and when you measure, you have their final index of GDH.
And Bhutan is, as according to your thesis, is the happiest country on the planet?
Yes.
Amazing.
Because in their cultural, coming out from their cultural heritage, they always were in the middle of different wars. So they had this issue of cultural preservation, and so
this is a very similar story.
To Armenia.
Armenia.
yes. So that's why they have decided anyhow to secure their heritage and to put value into what they have and enforce this value by appreciation of what they have and to what it can bring. And, every country has their own philosophy. And I think it's a very important point that countries progress while we have globalization right now, that we erase the borders, we are all the same, blah, 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 blah.
Everything we do has an effect on someone else.
Yes, it has.
Yes.
But there are some nuances, tender nuances that you have to count on when enlarging anything in your geographical, in your ideological limits or borders. It's borderless anyways. We are all humans.
Sure.
But there are certain colors that every nation, every country has reached coming out from centuries, depending how old is that country's civilizations, that I think it's very important to put accent and to respect whatever other people has transformed to us.
Okay. Could you maybe, going a little bit away from what we've just gotten into, describe to me what you found as the largest GDP in your research and how that had an effect on the GDH of the world? Because we've just talked about the highest GDH in the world. What is the highest GDP in the world?
So it differs from years. So
sure.
It was United States. It could be Australia, Canada. So there every year all the large countries or hegemonies, they have their own top levels in the indexes. So
and as far as I understand, you wrote your thesis in 2009.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So it was. It could be United States. It could be Canada, and coming down. So, but it appeared that happiness is actually more high in more underdeveloped countries.
Amazing.
Yes, it's. I don't know what the phenomenon is about, but I think those people they stay more indigenous, I think, to simple things. I don't know. It makes it in those countries. I think they are more direct. There are less bureaucracy in everything. So this it's
a more rooted lifestyle that people have.
Down to earth,
with not so much red tape around lifestyle.
Exactly.
It's interesting that you've mentioned this because I was reading a book last year, or actually 2 years ago, by Swami Radhanath, who was a young Jewish boy growing up in Chicago who decided to take a trip across Europe, and then during his trip, while he was meditating in a cave in Greece, decided that his calling was to go to India. He became a Swami in India over the course of, I think, 10 years, and then he's been writing and teaching ever since. And something that he noticed during his journey from Europe to India was that as he got closer to India, he saw that the standard of living was lower and lower and lower, going from Greece, then to Turkey, then to Afghanistan, then to Pakistan, then to India. And as he got lower in standard of living, the happiness which he acknowledged within people was higher and higher and higher, which has a direct parallel to what you're talking about.
Yeah, It means that I think those people stays closer to the nature itself and to the nature of Homo sapiens. That's why it makes their understanding and appreciation of life much more valuable.
And this has to do with, what does it have to do with? I have this constant question in my head, because we think about life being, and even myself, who conceptually understands this idea. I've read about it. What you talk about makes complete sense to me. But at the same time, when I think about my life and the life of my family, I think about trying to make it in some way easier all the time. And easier in a materialistic sense, meaning that we don't have to fight all the time to have food on our table. We don't have to fight all the time to pay for our electricity and our gas. We don't have to fight all the time to get money to go to the places we need to go, pay for transport, for example. But there's something that seems to be in this process of moving towards progress materialistically, which moves away from a what seems to be like born within each one of us, the happiness of just being, regardless of this materialism. Could you talk about that relationship a little bit in terms of materialism and happiness?
Yeah, man, from the time of his creation, he had different battles to overcome. So those could be mental battles in your mind, and those could be physical battles to survive. So we, starting from the fetus state of the Homo sapiens, human being, we fight. We fight. But
stay alive, right?
Yeah, to stay alive instinctively. So, but on that journey, there are some things that you should never give up in that battles. Now we have different rules of battles and different wars to fight as a human being, which human beings has created. And I think they have artificially make those battles to seem much more complicated, making it more and more difficult to have simple things for simple life. But that's what human intervened to do, because there are lots of resources that in my book I'm talking about, that if not digging and getting resources for a few hundred years, we can still live with the resources that we have if we use it wisely. If the management and distribution of the resources that we have in life is right, and it is in the hands of right people. But it's not a secret for everybody that there is 1% of the population, this very rich Rockefellers and Rothschilds, whatever it is.
Sure, whichever last name.
Yeah, that they have everything, the most part of the resources that belongs to everybody. So it's their greediness that actually put our humanity in this kind of condition that we have today. Yeah. Thank
you very much for your answer. And if you have a question that you would like to ask our very special guest Mariana here on 103.0 Radio Van, you can call us at 560-901. Right now we're going to listen to Ozzy Osbourne, a very special pick from our musical director of the day, Daniel, because Mary has a birthday today, and I would like to use this opportunity to say a very big, huge,
tremendous
as big as possible happy birthday to Mary, who is our musical director and the savior of Amerikan in Yerevan, every single evening here on 103.0 Radio Van. Stick around, we're still here for another 38 minutes here at we're without Ina MK. Usually we say Amerikan in Yerevan with Ina MK. So could you say Stephen Oxer in just a second? I'll say here on Amerikan in Yerevan with Mariana Gordon and
Stephen Amerikan Stephen
Oxner.
Oxner.
Thank you.
Sorry.
There are no unwritable wrongs or unsingable songs. There are no unbeatable odds. There are no believable gods. There are no unnameable names. Shall I say it again? Yeah.
Usually has Ina MK involved, but she is this evening celebrating a very, very important birthday of Mary, who is our music director here at 103.0 Radio Von, and that's why we have an amazing guest here with us who is just... We don't have enough time to talk about all of the amazing stories that you have to tell me here. But one thing I would like to ask you before we run out of time, because it's already 10:33, if you can imagine.
Wow.
Did you think about?
Flight.
It flies by,
Yes,
doesn't it? Yeah,
It does.
we notice that every time with Ina.
Yeah.
That the time flies by
Time
in this
flies.
studio somehow.
Exactly.
One thing I would like to ask you, with all of your experience across the globe, studying in New York, studying in France, studying in Belgium, Germany, and Italy, you have had numerous, I'm sure, opportunities to stay away from Armenia, as many people who are living in Armenia dream of. But you, as a person who is from Armenia, have decided to become what Nina Hovnanyan has labeled an ABC, Armenian by choice.
Yeah.
Someone who lives in Armenia by choice, even though there's an opportunity to not live in Armenia, right?
Yeah, of course.
Can you tell me a little bit about what it is that you love about this place?
Well, going a bit deeper, I think this ABC, Armenian by choice, or ABN, Armenian by nature, is is in our genetic code.
Yeah, it's a genetic code for sure.
I would not like to say only Armenians, but yeah, lots of people they have this crave to be in their homeland, because I remember when I was in Nice, so I was accepted to conservatory in Nice for a vocal department, and I was going to stay. I was thinking, but before that, every day since I was then, I was craving for soul, for Armenian soul, and for Armeniality. I don't know how can I explain it.
Armeniality,
it's
great, great word.
Yeah, it's because we are so much in the roots of this country. We are really, our mind, our heart, our soul is. It has different prerogatives for life, for emotions, for living, for loving. So when you're abroad, no matter how good are the conditions, you always lack, and it screams. It can't be silenced. Very many Armenians, they just have to sacrifice because there are maybe bad conditions here. Yes, but I don't know. I couldn't. I couldn't sacrifice. There were a lot of Armenians that would tell me there, Mariana, soon these screams or these cries would become silence in you, and that frightened me. That frightened me. I said, the moment it becomes silence, I would be dead as a human being.
Amazing, yeah.
Yeah, and let all the people follow their screams, their heart screams, the screams of their souls, their cravings, because that's what makes us alive. When we hear those screams, when we hear what we are about.
Aha, yes.
Yes, and not only it starts with us and continues with others. That's
it
what
starts
matters.
with us and continues with others.
Of course.
In the way that we hear it from ourselves.
But then we need to hear ourselves and also others.
Yes.
Yeah. Again, going back to my book, I have came up with this wonderful formula of happiness. It's
Cool.
yeah.
At last.
So
The formula for happiness.
yeah.
Here it is. Everybody listen very carefully.
so happiness with my formula composed of love, measure, and responsibility.
Measure in what sense?
Measure in every sense, because our universe is constructed such that everything is about measure, right measure, portions. If sun would be too close to our world, it will burn out.
Right.
Everything is about measure, is about balance and harmony. There is this idea of golden ratio that I talked about in my book that actually analyzes all the connectivity and universality of all the living creatures and life at all. So love, measure, and responsibility.
And responsibility. Can you describe a little bit about responsibility?
For who we are.
Okay.
Who should we be? There are 3 questions I have highlighted in my book. How much do we have? How much do we give? And what do we have in a result?
How much do we have? How much do we give? And how much do we have?
And what we have
in the result?
In the result. Those are very important questions that when you put the big data of our life into those questions, now the tragedy is that we take much, much more than we give, and accordingly we have in a result.
Yes.
And that's why our life is miserable.
Amazing.
It's not
You're describing
miserable.
to me.
Yes, the life is wonderful, but if you think how miserable it is for a lot of people lives hardships now, it is really miserable. It's miserable because people who controls, who should be responsible for that, they are not responsible enough because they
sending our youngest and strongest wars.
Yes, because they don't have much love. Much love for their brothers and sisters and species alike. That's the tragedy. And so this love, may be very basic emotion or basic notion, is the most important virtue that human being should be responsible for.
Oh, so it's a complete circle.
It is.
With love,
completed.
love going to measure,
yes,
going to responsibility,
yes,
then connecting back to love.
Exactly.
Wow, this is shaping up to be a very wonderful evening with you. Thank you so much
for
your explanations.
Thank you to you, Stephen,
Mariana,
for making this evening so much colorful, so much vibrant, so much energized with positive energy, with your positive personality. And I know that you have connected your life with a wonderful Armenian Zara, very talented person, and you have already a child. I wish that you pass all this wonderful content that you have in your heart to your child, and let this circle goes on. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you to, first I would like to thank Svetlana Galestyan, thanks to whom I'm here.
Us.
Yes, she is really a very special woman that brought me to a better state of mind by sharing with me this meditation practice. So thanks to her that I'm here and I met you and lots of wonderful people working here. I'm very thankful and hope that your program really continue inspiring lots of people around the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're still here for another 18 minutes, so don't go away. And if you have any questions, call us at 560901 on American in Yerevan. We're going to go to a short break, and we will be right back.
Radio One.
So would not be possible at all without our very dear sponsors, Mosaic Sky Restaurant on the 17th floor of Elite Plaza at 15 Korenazi, and also what right now has just opened within the past month on the 18th floor, Mosaic Sky Bar, which I think you have told me, Mariana, that you have been there, but possibly before
On 17th,
Mosaic,
maybe.
on the 17th floor,
Yes.
before they had opened.
Yeah, so I will climb the 18th also.
You will climb to the 18th floor and you will see they have furniture which glows from the inside.
Wow.
Which is actually just the beginning of the experience because it's shaped as quite a strange and very European, but at the same time very Armenian experience that you can have there, starting from the view which you have seen. Did you remember?
It was dark. It was a dark view, but
Oh, it was a dark view. So you had the night lights of
yeah.
Yerevan. You probably saw Republic Square from up
yeah,
there.
with the night, beautiful sky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I haven't been up there at night, actually. I've been up there
Yeah.
during the day, and I've seen Aragats and I've seen Ararat,
Yeah.
and tried their amazing menu, which has a wide variety of very classical European cuisine, always with the zest of Armenia in it.
Wonderful. I would love to try it.
Yeah, you
Thank
should
you for-
definitely go.
yeah.
And their waiters are very specialized, and they understand exactly what kind of cocktails, which are also very specialized European, but also like kind of Armenian twist cocktails. They can pair with your meals, as well as a wide variety of worldwide wines that you can pair with your
Wow,
meals.
very intriguing.
So you can take your husband to Mosaic Sky Restaurant and treat
He
him
will
to
take
a-
me.
Oh, he will take you to. This is a big call to Mr. Gordon out there listening to us here on 103.0 Radio Von. You should take your wife Mariana to Mosaic Sky Restaurant.
Thank you.
I would like to talk about before we go, because it's already 10:51. If you can imagine,
Yeah. I can't, but
what you are involved in now, because you have written this book about happiness, you've researched happiness across the globe, you've studied in New York, you've studied all over Europe, and you've come back to Armenia. What are you involved in now?
I'm involved in craving my own happiness.
Craving
Life.
your own happiness? Okay, tell me, where does love, responsibility, and measure fall into this category of craving?
It situated itself at the Opera Theatre of Armenia.
Wow!
Right, in the center of Yerevan.
Yes, because you're a dancer and a singer.
Yeah. So my dance career was very unique. I'm the only person that doesn't have the diploma of choreographical school, but who has accomplished all this hard and unimaginable path in very short amount of time. And it was my dream actually to become ballerina, and when I had all these opportunities in front of me, I've just put it away and followed my dream. And with the very, very, very difficult work, I've reached the position of working in an opera and ballet theater.
Amazing. So if I go to see, for example, I want to go see Carmen at the Opera Theater of Yerevan,
Yeah.
the amazing opera building, then I'll see you dancing there and singing there.
In the opera of Carmen recently, to my great happiness, I had a solo part. Yes.
Singing?
No, dancing.
Dancing.
Dancing. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Was there? I don't quite remember. I saw this opera quite a long time ago.
Yeah.
There's a solo in the.
Yes. L'amour.
Wow, you dancing that song?
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Carmen is actually a very crucial character in my life.
Oh.
Yeah, and I even have my own project called Carmeniada. it's the dream project of my life, where there is ballet and opera meeting together, and I
Okay.
want to stage that performance at one point of my life.
Carmen
So
Yada.
Carmeniada, yes.
Cool.
So
Cool.
hopefully,
And where will you stage that? Do you
I
have
wanted
any
to
idea?
stage in Armenia, but still I don't have the proper resources. I have
Okay.
everything, but not the material and financial resources. But it will come. The most important is the content, and I will wait.
Yes, content and patience.
Yes,
Yes.
and patience.
This is
and
something
the
that
will.
Zara tells our daughter all the time.
Yes.
Patience is life. Patience
Exactly.
is life. Patience
exactly.
is life.
exactly. Exactly.
There's something coming up that I would also like to advertise before we go, and that is your
Yes.
Shakespeare show from the small theater, which will take place in the Metro.
Yes. I'm also working at the small theater of Armenia, so I'm working in the biggest theater of Armenia,
Yeah,
and
the
the
largest.
smallest. Yes, very interestingly.
Yeah, it's a
Also,
very
that was
extreme
my dream to
theatrical
work there. I don't know
profession.
how life got me in that theater. I was dreaming about that theater
Really?
because it has the greatest miracles on this planet, this theater, thanks to Vahan Badalian, very talented director, who has recently staged Shakespeare, dedicated to 400th anniversary of Shakespeare. And on the 20th of May, we're performing extracts of that performance in metros of Yerevan. So starting from 2 p.m. on May 20th. So whoever
May
is
20th.
curious to see, to meet the art of Shakespeare and of Vahan Badalian is more than welcome to visit metros.
Do you know what metro station
No,
you're going
I
to
don't
begin
know
with?
with which we will start exactly.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Is there
but-
any way to find out before it happens?
Yeah, I think it will be on the site of Small Theater, National Small Theater of Yerevan, on Facebook official page.
Okay.
So you can,
So you can go on Facebook and
Yeah.
check the Small Theater of Yerevan.
yeah,
Check their Facebook page and keep in touch. There's only one day before
Yes.
this happens.
exactly.
So check in tomorrow.
Yes.
Find out which station they're going to begin at.
Yes.
They're going to be playing Shakespeare scenes
Yeah.
in the Metro,
In the metro.
starting at 2 p.m. on the
Yes.
20th of May.
Yes,
Um,
exactly.
thank you so much for being with us this evening.
Thank
It's
you,
been a pleasure.
Stevens. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed, and you gave me very positive symptoms for going on.
Great.
Thank
You've
you
also
very
given me
much.
positive energy to
Thank
go
you
on.
very much.
Yeah.
Wish you all the best.
I wish you all the best as well. And thank you everyone for who has listened to us this evening, even though we've had very few callers, meaning none at all this evening. I have a little bit of a sad feeling. I think that maybe everyone just wants to talk to Ina. And that's the reason that no one has
yes.
called, so I'm a little bit offended. But we'll be back on Friday at 9 p.m. Here on American in Yerevan with Ina MK and Stephen Oxner. Until now, I'm signing off, and we will be here on 103.0 Radio Van.
Radio One. Radio One.
Official show sponsor of
American in Yerevan.
Hey Ina, have you ever had a dessert cocktail that you ate with a spoon?
No.
Have you ever tried duck breast with picante mashed potatoes, grilled vegetables, and cherry sauce?
No, Steven.
What about sipping wines from across the globe on the 17th floor with a view of both Aragats and Ararat?
No, what is this all about?
We need to go to Mosaic. Mosaic Sky Restaurant, a fusion of views, world cuisine, innovative cocktails, wine pairing, and most importantly, a unique experience.
Mosaic Sky Restaurant on the 17th floor of Elite Plaza at 15 Khorenati.
Mosaic Sky Restaurant.
There's a first time for everything.
Radio One.
Wicked wild, wild. Wicked, wicked wild.